all right? After the 10 fights and blistered and everything, and she was limping and so on. So we drove back, and on the way back, we stopped at a travel stop and went to get some more McDonald's, and Grace went to the counter, picked up her food, and was limping back to where I was sitting with this other friend. And then a couple of tables away, I noticed two guys, they looked like very tough bikies, stopped her and said, "Are you okay?"
Brace yourselves, it's a Chip Lunch podcast, everyone. Welcome back to this wonderful lounge. What do we call it? Studio? Lounge studio? Studio lounge?
Studio. I think we were going to say lounge room. It's like, well, it's a bit...
Well, we're getting close to making a lounge room. We want to make it a lounge room.
Yeah.
How are you, Tim?
I'm doing well, thanks, Joel.
Welcome to the Chip Lunch podcast.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
It's great to have you back on.
Yeah.
Thank you. You are filling in for Braden.
Yes.
And or Ethan, because they're preparing for youth camp, which you are speaking on.
I am speaking at youth camp.
And this will come out after youth camp. How did it go?
It was great. The talks were awesome. They were amazing.
The talks are great. Yeah. That's what I heard. Talks were the best part.
Excellent. That's what we're praying for anyway.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yep. Okay. Do you feel excited about the talks?
I am excited about the talks. Yeah, I've got a few things running through my mind that I'm trying to hit. Both. Yeah. I talk about faith as being head, heart, hands, and so trying to get head and heart and hands all together. So just trying to put that together and work out how to do that in a talk is fun. And for teenagers, which is not my usual jam. Yeah,
not your usual audience.
No.
You're usually all the younger children.
Younger children.
Or like you're preaching at church.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so specifically youth ministry is I've not done as regularly. So yeah.
Well, really, just what talk would you want to hear when you were at youth ministry? Maybe that youth group.
Oh, I was a teenager a long time ago, Joel.
Oh, not that long ago. Don't give yourself a bit more credit. Anyway, let's introduce our guest, which I'm very excited to have in here. Gerald, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks very much for the invite.
No, we really appreciate you coming all the way down from the northern part of the city to come and record here at MCC. Are you excited to record this podcast?
Yes, I've never done this before.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a new thing for me.
That's most people on the Chip Lunch podcast. This is their first time ever, which is that's a cool thing. Another cool thing about this podcast is we're
breaking open new talent.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't where you were going.
No. It's just it's the first time people are on a podcast a lot of the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
How did this start? What's the motivation for Chip Lunch podcast?
So back in, I'm trying to remember if it's the first COVID lockdown or the second. I think it was the first. And Ethan and I were talking about what else can we do? Because I was recording the Shock Absorber in the morning on Fridays with Stu.
Yep.
And we said, why don't we try and do a youth podcast, which is basically like for something that the crew could listen to. They're stuck at home. And so we recorded our first, there's still the lost episode, which no one's heard, which is Ethan and I talking about being a Christian at high school. So we kind of started the podcast with the idea of doing recording it, what it's like to be a Christian at high school. The other problem is that but once Ethan and I and maybe Braden had been on it, then we ran out of material to talk about what it was like being a Christian at high school. But I think it was Ethan's idea that morphed into having people on to talk about, basically call it a testimony podcast. And that's where it kind of evolved to inviting people on like yourself to tell us about how God's worked in your life and how Jesus changed everything for you. And it's gone on from strength to strength. I think you're episode 100, you're going to be episode 185. I have to check that. There's around the 180 mark, which is really exciting.
Yes.
And we'll get Tim back for his favourite dead. So you've had favourite dead Russian, favourite dead Frenchman.
Yeah.
So now we have to find a favourite dead German. Probably German.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I'll have to find someone. Once I dig into Max Weber, maybe that might be good. He's kind of the father of sociology, but I haven't dug back that far into history yet. Okay. So
what's his period? Era?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not very good with history because this is where I'm not very good with dates and eras. Like I just kind of know there's people who are alive and there's people who are dead, and they're kind of my two categories. So how long they've been dead for is always a bit fuzzy in my mind.
Okay. So Tim is just to let you in on it's not a big secret. It's a well-known secret.
A well-known secret.
Tim is from German heritage, and he's been delving back into the history of his country of origin.
Yes,
and so you're getting to Weber eventually, though.
Well, I think that'll I have to end up in Weber eventually.
Okay, that's when we'll have to get you back on the podcast once you've delved into Weber's.
Probably Freud as well.
Ooh.
A little bit as in again Weber being the father of sociology, Freud the father of psychology. I think both of them have had a lot of revision and a lot of correction made to their theories, but as kind of the four founders of fields that I'm particularly interested in studying.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, there you go. So that's when we'll get Tim back on. Tim's been back on to kind of review other things in his life, including a favourite dead Frenchman. So that's what we might do. But today, Gerald, it's about you.
Do you have a favourite dead Frenchman?
Don't know.
Oh, okay. I was thinking there was a pause. I was thinking if I have a favourite one, but I don't know if I do. Favourite dead Frenchman? No, not at the moment.
Any French?
Maybe Baba. Yeah, often.
Is he dead?
Well, I don't know. Is he?
Oh.
Well, I feel like he'd be very old. And also the original Baba. Need to get back to that anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are problematic colonial leanings in Baba that I think if you look at it now, people might not have a few issues with it. But I'll enjoy a savvy elephant.
A savvy.
Have you ever seen Baba, Gerald?
Never.
Written by Hergé.
Okay.
I think he's French. Because I would have said Tintin, but he's Belgian.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Belgium when I've been there, but I'm also a big fan of Tintin.
Yes.
Or Tintin. Apparently in French it's Tintin.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yes. You know Tintin though, Gerald?
Yes, but I don't follow it.
Oh, that's okay. Again, the movie disappointed me. Didn't feel like real Tintin. Anyway.
I don't think I saw it, but I did read all the comics. That was my favourite thing as a kid. We used to go to the local library and
exactly what I did.
Borrow out the Tintin comics and the Asterix.
That's exactly what I did.
Obelisk, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's serious stuff then.
Favourite dead Frenchman, Asterix and Obelix.
Yeah, they are good.
They are right up there. They are hilarious. If you read them now, the jokes in there are hilarious. I didn't even pick them up when I was a 10-year-old.
No, I need to go back and...
I think we might need to do a podcast on Asterix and Obelix.
Well, there we go. Coming up soon on the Shock Absorber.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Anyway, Gerald, let's make this podcast about you for once.
Okay.
First question is, how do you like to eat hot chips?
Soggy.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, the big fat ones.
Yeah.
Not these little tiny French fries ones.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You can get very good ones at off the beach in Manly.
Oh,
really?
Yes. Okay.
So very good soggy ones, though?
Yeah, they're quite soggy, but they're thick and fat.
Okay, I see. Does it
crunchy on the outside?
Okay.
And then soft on the
Nice.
inside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excuse me a second.
No, that's fine. So, are you having anything to make it soggy? Are you putting sauce or vinegar or?
No, you leave it out for a little while.
Oh, you just so you're verging on Weng's preference of having cold chips as well, because
Weng has preference for cold chips.
Weng likes to order McDonald's via Uber Eats or a delivery service, and it gets cold on the way, and he likes to eat it like that. And sometimes he puts them in the fridge and eats them next day.
Yeah, more like fries than chips.
Oh, still,
Weng, but
I'd rather have hot fries than cold fries.
it's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's a real outlier on this podcast.
He is.
No, you don't think so?
I haven't.
You haven't listened to his
I haven't
episode?
listened.
That's right.
I haven't listened to any of the podcasts.
Oh,
I'll be too nervous.
I bet you listen to them all now after you've been on.
Maybe.
Okay, so no sauce.
No sauce. Salt. No vinegar.
Normal salt though?
Normal salt.
Yes.
No chicken salt.
No chicken salt.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yes.
It's a big battle on this podcast. I know you haven't listened to any episodes, but Braden and Ethan prefer chicken salt, and I prefer original salt, classic salt.
the OG.
It has to be classic.
Hey, I agree.
I mean,
What else is there?
yes.
Oh, there's chicken salt.
Yeah, but
They took salt and then improved it.
No, see, everyone says
No,
that,
yeah, it's
but
not.
it's a fake.
That's right. It's a fake.
It's true. It's AI.
It's AI. It's a psyop. It's a salt psyop. Okay. Can I ask you one a sub question I always like to ask about this is, do you have like a particular memory associated with eating hot chips? Because some people have talked about, I remember eating hot chips with my grandfather when I was down at the beach. Is there any memory that you have associated with chips?
Yes, when the kids were young, Grace and Michelle, we would take them for a drive, and is this the Tom Ugley's bridge?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, just off the bridge, there's this fish and chips shop.
Really?
Yep. And we would stop there, buy the fish and chips, and then go to the park nearby.
Mm.
And I always had a good time with the kids. And many years ago, when my folks visited from Malaysia, so we took them as well. And then we had this little picnic, and I always remembered this and wish we could do it again.
Yeah. Well, sadly, both those fish and chip shops have been removed
Or changed.
or
whatever.
I think they're building apartments there now.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But those were good
that's right.
times.
Good times.
Yes.
That sounds like it
Yeah.
would have been fun.
Family and
Yeah.
chips.
And good food.
Family and chips. That's what this podcast is about.
Yes.
Family and chips. It's about many things, but
Mm.
the family of real salt eaters and the family of fakes. with the
I'm
chicken
with you
salt.
there.
So we're on the right side of this podcast.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we are correct. All right. Next question, though, and really is the purpose of this podcast. How did you become a Christian, Gerald?
Well, let me get to the answer first, and then I'll go back.
Okay.
I would like to say, I'm on this journey still. Okay. I grew up in a Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandfather, before he came to Malaysia, he was in China. And I found out many years later that he was an Anglican priest in China. And nobody knows how that happened. All right. And then he landed up in Penang, where I grew up, a little island to the north of the western side of Malaysia. And he was with this church called St. Paul's Church for a long time. And we used to go to this church as a family, as kids. We have youth fellowship there, Christmas, a lot of Christmas fun there. And we had weddings there, and confirmations and baptisms and funerals and so on. And I would say that you grow up in a Christian environment, but I think you moving on from that. I think being a Christian is about the relationship with God, because and as I think with relationships, you need time. All right, and you need to be able to, if I can say this properly, evidence the relationship. Because you can say you are a Christian or you love someone, but then how do you feel that you are really into the relationship? It's also a two-way thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I'm on this journey still, all right? And if you ask, am I a Christian? I would say yes, but how do I know? How do you know? How do people know? I think you don't really know, because the relationship would be between me and God.
Mm-hmm. Only God really knows. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and it's relationships, I think, should be between the people concerned in the relationship. And so that's, to me, not an easy answer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
I hope it makes sense, but you can ask away if.
Yeah, I'm just trying to process it, to be honest. I'm trying to figure out what question I should ask from that. So why don't we go back, and if you see you're still on the journey, why don't we talk about how the journey started? So you're growing up in a church in Malaysia.
Yes.
Can you tell us what's life like in Malaysia, first of all, so we understand it? I mean, I've been to Malaysia a couple of times, but I didn't live there.
I grew up in a place called Penang. It's a little island.
I just had a
And-
look on the map.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's an
You
island
have
off.
to, and you have to enlarge it in the, a little bit. And it's a very nice community, all right. And you know people there, and you get together and so on. And I would say, childhood friends growing up there. So, and you sort of like, I think maybe it's the same community you have in the Shire, more or less, yeah. And it was good for us until I moved away to school.
Oh.
All right.
Is that like a boarding school? Or you just had to...
My father sent me to Sydney.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
At what? How old were you?
I was about 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And to get to uni here, you do one last year of high school. All right. And so I did that at the Christian Brothers School in Ryde,
Okay.
Holy Cross.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to New South Wales Uni.
Okay. And in between those years of you coming to Australia, it was just a normal kind of schooling in Malaysia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was a school called, it's still there, called St. Xavier's.
Mm-hmm.
So also a Christian Brothers School.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think we had a lot of fun growing up in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
It was predominantly a boys' school until the last 2 years in high school.
Oh, okay.
I'm not familiar with Christian Brothers. Is that a Catholic aligned or what's the background?
Yes, more Catholic.
Okay, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And then so is the schooling system kind of the same as Australia?
Thanks to the British.
Oh, right.
Okay. And I think this was a very good thing.
Yeah.
Because you learn proper stuff like maths, English grammar,
Yep.
Yep.
proper science, you know.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that helped us a lot to be able to go outside globally,
Oh, okay.
all right?
Yep.
And to also, with language, you can perhaps process cultures better.
Okay.
Yep. Did you learn English there?
Yeah, it was predominantly the language for instruction and education.
Oh, okay.
Right then.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And my father felt that this is good for us because I think he wanted us to be able to also engage, if you like, with the rest of the world.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So then how did you get to the point of, does your dad just say, I'm sending you to Sydney? Or how does that come about?
There was a lot of discussion then about people going overseas. And at this point, I think, I have to say something that we are very grateful to have had this opportunity. And the reason is that a lot of it were funded by Australian taxpayers.
Oh, right.
So at that time, they had, I think, a plan in place, something about the Colombo Plan, where a bunch of nations funded, all right, education for people from these countries, including Malaya then, or Malaysia. And it's a little bit embarrassing, but we applied to study at the uni here, and I came here, and then I discovered, strangely, that we had to pay for textbooks and lodging, but the tuition was paid by Australian taxpayers.
Oh, right, okay.
And every opportunity I get, I always want to say thank you, basically to your parents. I'm not sure you paid a lot of tax towards that.
No, probably not. What year was this?
I came. This was in the 70s.
Yeah. My parents probably even paying tax by then because they were born in 1661. So, thanks to their parents.
And their parents. But I think this was something very positive, and a lot of Malaysians and people around this region came here. We have a lot to be grateful for. you know, to have had this opportunity. So I've always carried this in my heart.
Just thinking about your family in Malaysia. So you said your granddad was a Anglican priest. You found out
My
later.
father's father, yeah.
Father's father. Was there much talk about Christianity and religion and Jesus in your home as you were growing up, or is it something that was just, you know, on the weekend when you went to church? What was it like in the household, I suppose?
Not a lot in the household.
Okay.
All right. We lived as what we know then to be a Christian family. All right. And we go to church on Sundays and Sunday school and things like that. And my father was a GP. Yeah. And he worked a couple of hours Sunday mornings because people do come. So after church, yeah, and between the lunch, he stops after lunch. And we sort of like grew up in such an environment. So it's not like, you know, we would be having Bible study at night in the home and so on. It was not like that. It was just the way of life rather than a religion.
And what, I mean, I'm interested in the kind of move to Sydney. Can you tell us about that? So were you prepared for it, or you were just like going in completely blind and just going to see what happened?
Quite blind, you know. I have an aunt here in Sydney. So that helped me get going the first year. Yeah, and after that I lived out and so on. And I had many positive experiences in Sydney. All right. So in uni, you know, there were a couple of years I stayed out at a place called New College in Kensington.
Okay.
And there's this guy there, I forget his name, but a very nice Aussie friend, you know, and he introduced me to Vegemite and honey on a buttered toast. I have loved it ever since. Yes.
That's
so
cool.
so there's a lot of new learnings. You know, you come from an environment.
Yeah.
And then you see the rest of the world, and you learn. You can be positive or negative. You can look at all the good things, or you can focus on the negative things. But I was very fortunate to be able to experience a lot of positive things. Right. So we grew up in a very different culture and a different environment, and there are a couple of stories I always like to share. And one of them is that after uni on Fridays, I would take the bus to Central, have a change, and then go up to visit my aunt in Ryde, and then do the return trip at night, maybe 10, 11 o'clock, you know. Invariably, I stop at Town Hall because they have a really good Macca's place there.
Right.
And one day I was there, and I got my Big Mac and a Coke and my chips, right, and hot chips, and then was walking towards a place to sit, and then I spilled my drink, right, and I think must be within 30 seconds or however long it takes to pour another Coke. A very young boy who works at Macca's showed up with a new cup of Coke. All right, and put it on my tray, and I was like, never had this happen in my life. Like, you know, someone would just come and be nice to you and clean up and so on. And I was so shocked, and I never had this, right? And you would, in most places, go and buy another Coke if you want.
Yeah.
So, and I kept this in my head all the time. I regretted never really thanking him because I was like surprised and shocked.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was, to me, a very good experience during my school days, if like uni days. And then subsequently living here, all right, you can cut me off if I...
No, keep going. This is it's interesting.
A couple of more positive things happened in my life, all right. My daughter Grace, you might know I'm introduced usually as Grace's dad, all right,
Yep.
or Michelle's dad.
Yep.
Then they discover my name eventually. And so Grace was going for her karate black belt grading in Melbourne, and I was also training then. So with another friend who was also doing the grading, so we drove down to Melbourne for the grading, and then after that stayed a weekend and so on. And for her to get a black belt, you have to have 10 fights, and Grace is not too big, but so she had to last 10 fights with strong people, and they really push you. You know, it's not a walk in the park. And she was quite hurt.
Yeah.
All right. After the 10 fights and blistered and everything, and she was limping and so on. So we drove back, and on the way back we stopped at a travel stop, and went to get some more McDonald's. And Grace went to the counter, picked up her food, and was limping back to where I was sitting with this other friend. And then a couple of tables away, I noticed 2 guys. They looked like very tough bikies. Stopped her and said, "Are you okay?" And I was so touched that strangers, all right, you know, if you stereotype, they wouldn't look like Christians, all right, and would stop and showed concern. And this, again, was something I remembered because it's never happened in all my life. So I was very touched. And I wish I had walked over to thank them, but I was, again, shocked.
Yeah.
And then the third incident was one night after work. I took my wife out, and I think we had dinner or something. So we were driving back, and then I bummed out my phone, the 000 number. I think it's 111 or something. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's programmed to the phone those days.
Oh okay. You did a butt dial. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay.
And bummed out. And then I realized this after I got back, and I quickly took the phone, and I read out the number and said, "Sorry, I made a mistake, and please, don't send anybody," and so on. So I sat down. It was about 11ish at night, and then there was a knock on the door. So my wife had gone to bed, and I was sitting there just watching the news or something, and 2 very big policemen came into the house, and I said, "Oh, it must be." The missed dial, and I said, I already called and said I'm sorry, and and so on and so forth. And they looked at me and they said, "Are you alone?" I said, "No, my wife is asleep." And you know what they said? "Can we see your wife?"
Oh.
You know what they mean?
No, tell us.
They wanted to be sure that my wife was okay.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
And I said to myself, they took the trouble. They could have said, "Yeah, we checked, tick the box," and they left. But I was again, very taken back by this experience. So I carried these 3 experiences with me, and I share it when I can.
So can I ask, why do those experiences impact you so much? Is it because you hadn't experienced that in growing up or in like when you were younger?
Well, first of all, these experiences are few and hard to come by.
Okay.
All right, this is the first thing. And the second thing is that it's often said that, things are different when you're outside your own culture. All right. But, on these occasions, they weren't. Right? They were just decent reactions. All right? Decent actions. All right? People caring. All right? People doing things sometimes they don't have to do. The young man can avoid this, just mop up and move away.
So it's
right?
like a concern for people that you don't even, they didn't even know you or
they don't
Grace
even know
or,
you. They don't even have to step out of the comfort zone to check on us.
Yes.
Yeah. And they didn't check on me at the travel stop. They checked on my daughter.
Yep.
if someone were to check on your kids, how would you feel, right?
Yeah, you appreciate it because it's like they're showing concern that
Yes.
you think that you only have concern for your kids
Yes.
sometimes.
And total strangers. And people who don't look like they would show concern. Sorry, guys, wish I could say thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. And you're kind of talking there about, you're talking about moving or changing where you lived. Can I ask you, what was the biggest shock from moving from Malaysia to Sydney? What is the thing that you found most surprising?
I didn't feel really any shock
Okay.
in the move, all right?
That's
and
good.
It was strange now that you asked the question. I didn't think about it too much. It was to me like a new adventure.
Okay.
All right. But subsequently, I did think that it must have been much harder for my parents because we are 3 brothers, all right, and they made the decision to let us loose in the rest of the world, all right. And I think in this case, when you're out there and you see things, it's very difficult to go back. So this means that we would leave our parents behind, and I'm sure that they would sense this. And so I think times like this, when they age and they are away from us and we are away from them, would be tougher times.
Did your brothers go to Australia as well, or did they go somewhere else?
My youngest brother, Christopher, Chris, we call him, he studied in Melbourne,
Okay.
all right. And he worked for a while. He's a doctor. And at the hospital near here, what hospital is near?
Sutherland Hospital?
Sutherland, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and the second brother, he went to the UK, right? And
Did spread out.
yes,
Is he? What is he doing over in the UK?
he's a dentist there.
Oh, he didn't seem very happy that he's a dentist.
No, it's just that he's in the UK and he's far away.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we are quite close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's only like an 8-hour flight to Malaysia, something like that.
much more, I think,
Oh, is it?
from the UK.
Oh, I meant from Sydney. It's
from Sydney,
yeah.
yes, and then with and so on. Yeah,
yeah.
yes. So we try to get together as often as we can, right? And but UK is further away, and Singapore is more on the way. When I go back to see my folks, I catch up with my brother, and we always have a good time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
What did you end up studying when you came to Sydney? I don't think we've asked you that.
It's okay. I started accounting, but
Okay.
so I was in high school, so here.
Yeah, that's right. You had to finish high school.
So I finished high school and got whatever is the ATAR then. all
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
HS was UAI when I was.
UAI, I think.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
And then, so I remembered that I got my results, which weren't very exciting,
Mhm.
So the situation in Asian culture is that if your father's a doctor, everybody thinks that you will be a doctor.
Right.
All right. So I got my UAI, went to my father's office and said, looks like,
I might not be a doctor.
I might not be. And then he looked at me and he said, more or less, the summary is that you study accounting and maybe one of your kids will be a doctor.
And it's true. It's true though, isn't it?
So we left it at that because it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then I studied accounting. It was a challenge because I was not very good with numbers.
Mhm.
And I thought that for the first year, I could just wing it, and not having to balance all the books and somehow write nice essays and pass. And I couldn't. So I remember sitting in the library at night then to say I must work on the figures.
Okay.
All right.
Did you get better?
I got better. All right. Still not, really better, but better.
Mm.
And then I graduated, and then I went back to Malaysia, worked a little while as a audit trainee, then to Singapore.
Mm.
All right. A lot of us wanted to go there because there were more opportunities and so on. So I went there. And then I became a salesman in IT.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Was that what you were planning that you
No,
wanted
by
to do?
accident.
Yeah.
Because after after accounting, I wanted to go into what they call those days, not IT, but electronic data processing, EDP. You know, it was a big thing. You know, now it's IT or whatever, AI, it was EDP.
Yeah.
So eventually I moved, all right, to to an English company in Singapore. And then they interviewed me and so on. And so I was doing like project work and so on, but more pre-sales and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then about 7 years later, I was driving home. I used to drive home every day past this German company called Nixdorf, very, very famous in those days. You know, I spent quite a number of years in German companies. And that was the start of a very nice adventure. So so a friend was talking to me and said, "Why don't you try working for this company?" And I said, "Okay." So I just took the phone and rang someone there, and I said, "Can I come and talk to your boss about a job?" And the secretary, you know, I remember her to this day, said, "Oh, just take details down, and, you know, the process."
Yeah.
So I rang again and again and again. And one day she said, "Okay, he'll see you." So I went there and had an interview and so on. And I had 2 interviews and I had 3 interviews. And then he said, "Come in, we want to talk about offering you a job." So I was very excited. I went there. And he said, and I said, he said, what do you want to do? I said, "I don't really know, but this is what I do now. Do you have a job for me?" And then he said, "How much do you want to be paid?" I said, "I don't know, but can you pay me a little bit more than my last pay?"
Yeah.
And then he said, "Okay, here's the contract." And then I took it and it said, "Sales executive."
Oh.
All right, $1 million quota. All right, and something like maybe 40% of your pay would be on you achieving targets.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I said, "Well, okay, just sign on it," and that's how I became a IT salesman. And I loved it.
Oh, did you?
Yes, it's the best thing.
Oh.
I had so much fun, and I did so many things, and the first project, one of the first projects I had there, the project manager on the customer side was Aussie. So, you know, somehow things work out.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
What did you love? What do you love about sales? Because I think most people would say, "I don't like sales."
Okay, I think most people don't like sales because they can find salespeople, let's say, maybe insincere,
Yeah.
all right, or untruthful and so
Mm.
on. But on this aspect, I think that you can also change this.
You can be different.
You can be different,
Yeah.
all right, and you can try to be as straightforward as you can. All right, you have an option. All right, you can choose. So I like that about sales. And the second thing is that you engage with a lot of different people, and you always have good stories. All right, some boring, but some exciting, but always quite good experiences, and you get to share a lot.
Yeah.
Not all the time, of course, but there were many opportunities. All right, to learn and to discover and to share, and I like that.
Yeah, right. And did you hit your quota for the first?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and we went to Germany.
Oh.
Yes, for a sales trip, and it was fun. Brought the wife at that time, you know, you can, and they built a raft down the River Rhine.
Oh, really?
It's very traditional, all right. So they drive you up to let's say, you know, a high area, and then they build this raft. You get into it, and you go down drinking beer and singing the songs, and then you reach the bottom, all right, where it's flat, and then you have your Schweinshaxe.
Oh, what's that?
Yep. Pork
Pork
knuckles.
knuckle.
Oh, pork knuckle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got that one.
Okay, good.
Yep.
And Ein Maß, all right, a very big beer.
Yep.
And then after that, you go back and they disassemble the raft, and then they drive it back up for the next group.
To put it all together
Yeah, put it
again.
yeah.
Is it like a team building thing?
It is more like a sales. They acknowledge the effort you put into
Okay.
achieving your targets, and it's a sense of like community and also that you achieve your targets. We want you to do better next year, and incentive.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. And so how long are you working for this company?
So I worked for Nixdorf for probably about 7-8 years, and 3 years in Singapore. And then at that time, I decided I want to live in Sydney.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the Australian High Commission or Embassy and got the forms, and then I started to fill in these forms. It took me about 1.5 years to 2 years. And then and one day I received this letter that, you are now granted permanent residency. Not permanent, permanent residency.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
All right. So took my wife, Mechi, and Grace then.
Okay.
To Sydney, and we started life again here. And somehow I had the opportunity to reapply for Nixdorf in Sydney, and I continued working.
Great.
Yeah.
What's behind the decision to wanting to move back to Sydney?
Well, I think I've always felt some sort of affinity to living in Australia. And the second thing is that living in Singapore in an apartment, every night I drive home, and then I put the TV on, and there's Peter Allen singing the Qantas song, I Still Call Australia Home. It sounds funny, but it had an effect.
Yeah,
It does.
Interesting.
And
Even when you fly home on Qantas, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going home.
it's
like,
my
this feels
favorite.
good.
It's my favorite,
It's very clever.
So I listen to a lot of his songs as well now,
Mm-hmm.
and showing my age. And so I said, I want to live here. So I did bring my wife for a visit with Grace in the stroller, all right, in Hyde Park and all this, beautiful weather at that time.
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to live here.
You mentioned Grace and also your wife. Tell us about I don't think I've ever met your wife. What was her name again? Sorry.
Properly, it's Mei Chi.
Mei Chi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I met Mei Chi in Singapore.
Okay.
All right, and at work, office romance.
Ah.
No, it's just dramatized.
Yeah, that's all right.
and then we got married. Used to after work, go back and have dinner with her folks, right? And then we got married eventually at the church in Penang.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Back there. Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
And so I'm guessing everyone, your family, her family were there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Her family and my family. So
that's lovely. The question I was going to ask you around this time, and I'd like to hear chat about Grace and then obviously Michelle as well. Where are you at with your Christian faith at this point in time?
better than last year.
But better than like last year, like 2024, or better than
2024.
Why is that?
Well, and before that,
Mm.
okay. I think it's sort of started with what Grace and Michelle were doing around soul revival.
Oh, okay.
All right. And at that time, I was going to the church with my wife, and Grace started to work at at the City Bible Forum.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then one day she told me that she is going to this church in the Shire. I said, like,
so far away.
it's another country. No. But she sort of like, she knew what she wanted to do. All right. She was just like letting me process it. And so one day, then she showed me a picture, and it had stew on it, with the hair and the rock band clothes.
I once had a great uncle, because Stu married Karen and I, and when he's like, oh, he's got the crazy eyes. That's what my great uncle said about Stu. He's got crazy eyes.
Yes. But I like that because with my kids, all right, if they step out of their comfort zone in a positive way, I think that's a good thing.
Well, it's something that you did.
Yes. And I didn't even think of it that way, but they do it now. So it was very, very good. And then we started this Bible study group in their rented apartment those years. And there were 5 of them. And I said, if I were to go to this, all right, to support my kids, and then I met the core team, all right, Ian, Wang, Louisa, and then Shamara was there as well, and so on. And I felt, and then after that, it's Charlie and Iris and so on.
Yes,
So at that time there were these about 5 people at any time, and I was the 6th. And I said to myself, if I don't show up, then it's like 16% of the group's missing.
It's
right?
not there. Yep.
It's not there.
Yep.
So that sort of put a lot of onus on my being there. And then, they like to ask a lot of interesting questions. Aside from, I've been to 1 or 2 Bible study groups, all right, in my life, and they were always quite boring, to be honest. Yeah. But this group, young people, they have very interesting views of their faith. And we Ian always had this icebreaker questions to start with.
I remember hearing that. Yep.
Yeah. It was quite interesting. You could sort of it was really, breaking the ice, but also it allowed us to express a little bit what we feel, what we think.
And like questions that you hadn't had answered before or had been thinking about for a while?
I think the questions were just catalysts.
Okay.
All right. And then what came out of this was the most important thing, which carried forward to this day. And this is a sense of community.
Yeah. Yep.
And I said to myself, that Christianity, all right, it's still a journey for me. It's not something like I'm a Christian, that's it. All right. How do you know? How do you know, because of the relationship between you and God, I didn't hear God say, I'm okay with you yet. Right? So it's very personal. But the community supports this.
Yep. Absolutely, it does.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I came to Kirui, and I thought, well, I've never seen this kind of thing in all my years going to church and so on. The community, because usually, you get out after 2 hours on Sunday or whatever. There you go to church. Then that's it. But people get together. I mean, like a couple hundred people go to week away, and spend time in week away. Very unusual, exceptional. Maybe you get to the point where it's common for you, or it's right. Maybe sometimes another routine, but it's not for us.
Yeah, I know. I've tried to talk to my kids before about their experience of church, of lots of hours together, strong community, intergenerational friendships, going away for a week's holiday in the middle of the year together. Like, that's all they've ever known.
Yeah, same for mine.
And so trying to tell them that that's not, actually most churches are not like this. And I had a conversation recently with my daughter. She's like, why? Why wouldn't every church do this? Like, how on earth can you be friends with Jesus if you're not friends with people who are all different ages? And I don't understand. And she's like, why wouldn't everyone in a church want to go away together with all their friends for a week? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Just trying to communicate to her that actually, most people's church experiences are not this, but for her, she's never known any different. It's the only experience of a faith community she's ever known.
But the underlying important fact about this community is that you make relationships that are tested by time.
That's right. Yes.
So if your daughter grows up and in 20 years' time she has his friends, it's 20 years of background to this relationship. You can hardly restart this when you're 30 or 40 or 50 years old.
Yeah.
Because whatever it is, you don't have the benefit of the time anymore. So I think this is something that we miss. It is time together in a church, but it's also time in the community. And people support one another in the community. which is also something, a factor of what friendship is.
Yeah. And I think I'd probably also say, like, the only reason we're able to do what Tim's talking about and what you're talking about, Gerald, is because what Jesus does to reconcile us to each other. Like, I think that's I was driving home yesterday thinking, like, what would I be if I wasn't a Christian? Like, I don't know. I actually am unsure about the person that I would be if I wasn't a Christian. Because I was just driving home and I was like, someone just went past me, not in a bad way or anything. And I'm like, I wonder if they're a Christian. And if not, like, would I just be like that person, just not knowing God exists or choosing not to accept God exists?
Are you close to people who don't know, or haven't had this experience that you have? Are you close to people who are, let's say, Christians, but undergo a lot of challenges in their lives, different phases in their lives? Sometimes it's interesting, all right? Here I am pulling out my senior's card, to say that it is often very, very important to experience this. And the reason I bring this up is because of my engagement with my parents, my aging parents, all right? Father is going to be 96, my mother 98.
Right, wow.
And they're undergoing challenges, right, in their aging process. And about 10, 15 years ago, I started to visit them very often. One of the reasons why I sort of retired, but it wasn't easy, because there are always bills to pay and responsibilities to upkeep. But I felt that they gave me the opportunity to come out. All right, it's a privilege to live in Australia. I have to say this. And if you take it for granted, you should revisit that mindset. So I've always felt that I was given this opportunity. Remember, I talked about us moving away, and it was very difficult to move back, or for them to move here. So I said, I have to see them as often as I can. All right. And that includes lots of things: emotions, budget, time, family responsibilities here, community responsibilities, and so on. And you find your own balance. Once you see this and you see so what Soul Revival talks about, all ages and all stages and so on, right? The last years I experienced all this. So the last 10, 15 years I watched my parents age, and I said to myself, these are probably the last teachings my father can share with me. So I said, I took it very seriously and said, what can I learn from this? And what are the challenges? Challenge is a very polite word. I try to be polite. And
you try to be positive too, I think.
It is very hard to be positive.
Yeah.
All right, in these things.
But I hear you trying to be, I think.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I have to say this, aging sucks.
Yeah.
All right. It's a very difficult process. So I'm always mindful, when we talk about all ages and all stages and so on, all phases, I guess, is that how do we look after our community, the people who are undergoing such changes in their lives?
Yeah.
Because although time just goes on, right? But it seems, all right, a little bit more challenging in Q4.
Right. Of your life.
We are in Q4 because the Bible tells us, you have 70 years, and if you're healthy and you go to the gym, then you get 80 years. And so if you're 60, you're in Q4, more or less.
Yeah.
All right. So there are lots of things that to be aware of, and you can learn. So I spent the last 10, 15 years, my parents, they fell, they had this and they had that, they went to the hospital, and I one day sat back and said, I've been in and out of this hospital something like 500 times, right? One matter or the other, hospitalization, checkups, etc., So I know quite a few people in the hospital, including the people looking after the parking and the receptionists and the nurses and the doctors and so on. So, And it's not easy.
And so are you just grappling with the fact that you as well as your parents are getting older
Yes.
and closer to, obviously, to passing away?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And also, but more important than that, because this is what life is, but
Right.
more important than that are two additional things: what I can do with myself and what I can share with people who are curious about this process. I never thought about dying until I was 50. And at 50, I started to think, not in a morbid or negative way, like almost all the time, because I felt that it's important to, I'm still on this journey, so it's a sharing. It's nothing to do with any other advice. That it's important to learn about the process for myself as well. Because if you don't look after yourself, you cannot look after the people around you, either directly or vicariously.
Right.
Right? Because they look to you and say, but dad's always like that, and mom's like that, I'll also be the same. Right? So that's very difficult to be like this for yourself and to be like this for your family or your kids or your friends, right? So it's very challenging. And I go through this process, and I still go through this process. Maybe it will take forever and ever, but I go through this process. Because the only people, all right, who will hurt if you don't look after yourself are the people who love you most first. All right. So, and you have to try. And after you have tried, that's all you can do. So
what changes have you made?